This is another reading of Mehera-Meher, page 413. Oh, it's volume 3, by the way. So it's an old picture, 1937. Chapter 150, Mehera-Rada. Baba, quote unquote, stepped out of his 4-month seclusion for one day to allow a Dutch filmmaker, Louis van Gasteren, to film him washing the feet of a few lepers. Van Gasteren and his crew arrived at Meherazade on Wednesday, 20 September 1967. From their compound, Mehera and the other women saw Baba being carried beyond the hedge, and they watched the filming from afar. Van Gasteren and his crew couldn't see us, Mehera said, as they had their backs to us. On 1 October, Baba issued a circular that stated, Meher Baba says that the fate of the universe hangs on his seclusion, and the redemption of mankind depends upon his manifestation, and he wants to remain absolutely undisturbed. Baba had been working in seclusion with Kaikobad until September, when Kaikobad had slipped and broken his leg. Kaikobad returned to Meherazade on 5 October, along with Dr. Alu, who had been looking after him in the hospital. Alu had stayed at Meherazade for 6 months in 1965, but this time she stayed and helped go her for a year. Previously, Alu had eaten her meals with the women. This time, however, she was ordered to have dinner with them and, for the rest of the time, to remain on the men's side. Because of Baba's seclusion, Alu was kept apart and was only to see Baba when called. Nevertheless, at the beginning of her stay, Baba instructed Alu occasionally sit and talk with Mehera in the garden. Later, he gave her this order. Every other day, go and talk with Mehera for half an hour. Said Alu, I could not talk with Mehera so freely in those days. She was very sensitive if someone said something she did not like. We were always kept at arm's length. One had to be careful in what to talk about with her. We were not to discuss worldly things. I wasn't close friends with her, and she, in turn, felt very shy with strangers and in front of me. Baba was doing it to break her reserve. All the time, her mind was with Baba. When Baba was with the men mandali in Guru Prasad or during darshans, she would peep in at him. He would peep at her. She must see Baba. She could not live without seeing Baba for a long time. Living at Meherazade for a year provided Alu with numerous occasions to observe this divine romance. From seeing Baba and Mehera together, she stated, I came to know what true spiritual love is. Mehera served Baba so lovingly. When Mehera was talking with Baba as a loved one, she addressed him as Toon in the informal in Gujarati. Baba would kiss her, she would kiss him. Baba would put food in her mouth, she would feed him. Such tenderness, it was an example to me of true love. So pure, so divine. There's an asterisk there. Let's see where, did I miss the side note? Don't know. Oh, not there, not on that side. Let's try this side. Okay, here's the asterisk. Meheru also related. Sometimes Baba offered with his hands something tasty from his own plate for Mehera to taste, and Mehera on occasion did likewise, if she felt Baba would enjoy it. Although Mehera was shy in front of strangers, she was not bashful in front of Baba. Others were reserved before Baba, but Mehera poured out her heart to him with the ingenuousness of a young child. Nothing was withheld from her beloved. And Baba, in turn, gave Mehera his undivided attention. Mehera would tell Baba the littlest things. Alu observed. She told him everything open-heartedly. She conversed with him when alone, sharing all intimacies, telling him whatever was on her mind with such innocence. She is like an innocent child. Her talk, her ideas are innocent. That love, that expression of pure divine love between Baba and Mehera was a revelation of sweetness and purity. You felt so happy to see it. Baba once told us, between Mehera and myself, I've kept only a sheer curtain. She is just like me. As Mehera herself explained, I didn't hesitate to open my mind to him. I felt a oneness with him. That is how Baba liked it to be. This is exactly what Meher Baba meant when he said time and again that Mehera loved him as no other. Mehera never hesitated to be totally honest with Baba in every way. She was completely uninhibited and unrestrained when speaking with him in private. Whatever Mehera felt, she expressed without equivocation. And as Mehera said, that is precisely what Baba wanted. Absolutely no barriers between himself and his lover. Once in front of Mehera and the other women Mandali, Baba stated, Mehera loves me as I should be loved. Alu concluded, Mehera does not realize her position, how great she is. She has a certain authority of which she isn't aware or conscious. For example, she will say something which will come true. Baba hears her prayers. Baba does whatever she wants. One should consider her as a sacred being. Be friendly, but maintain that respect which she deserves. As Alu mentioned, Baba at times told the others not to tell Mehera certain things. When Gohar first came to live at Meherazad, for example, she was the messenger between the men and women Mandali. In those days, at Meherazad, Gohar recalled, we never came to the Mandali side unless for some specific work. We used to be on our side all the time. Baba told Gohar, whatever you see or hear here on the men's side, you must never repeat on the other side. Mehera was kept so secluded because there were certain things that Baba did not want her to know. When Khorshid visited, Baba warned her privately also not to disturb Mehera by talking about her difficulties. Mehera would worry when she heard about other people's troubles, illnesses, divorces, and so on. It upset her, and Baba did not want her to become distracted or feel concerned on this account. Khorshid felt that after the first accident, Baba became even more protective of Mehera. So often, Baba repeated, when Mehera is happy, I am happy. Always see that Mehera is happy. Mostly, said Goher, Baba didn't tell Mehera things about the world, things that might upset her. Her mind shouldn't be working on those matters, Baba explained. She should not have her she should have her concentration only on him, not on these outside people. Sometimes Baba himself told her things in a toned down version so as not to worry her about her uncle Irani recognizing his avatarhood, for example. Baba put up with everything, Goher continued. We never saw him scold Mahara or get annoyed with her. If she cried over something, either over something Baba had said or her own personal things, Baba used to be distressed about it. Let's read this side note. During Baba's current seclusion, he listened once again to the list of his departed lovers. Although Colonel Irani had remained a staunch opponent until his death, Baba had the colonel's name added to the list, pointing out how often the colonel had, quote unquote, remembered Baba. Baba liked Mehera to be happy. He always wanted her to be happy. He never wanted her to be displeased or hurt about anything. He always wanted to see her smile and be happy. Baba loved her very deeply. So many times he said that Mehera was part of him. If she is displeased, I am displeased. If she feels hurt, I feel hurt. If she is crying, I cry. If she is happy, then I am happy. So if you make her happy, you make me happy. First, see that Mehera is not displeased in any way. In this way, Baba showed us that he really loved Mehera very much. Despite their best efforts, however, occasionally the other women Mondali said or did something that displeased Mehera. There were times when this happened, Goher confessed. Many times there would be misunderstandings. Baba would get upset with the person who said something. Sometimes we didn't mean anything, but there would be a misunderstanding. It would happen. After the first accident, from a medical point of view, I used to treat Baba, but whatever else Mehera said to do, I had to do. Like giving injections. She would ask me, have you washed your hands? As if I didn't know to do that. I wouldn't say anything to her. After the accident, as the years went by, some people say Mehera became more irritable, short tempered, more demanding. We tried never to enter into much of an argument with her, in spite of being in the right at times. Baba would scold us in front of her. Although we knew that we were right, we didn't argue with Baba. There would be flare ups. Baba would settle things, make us embrace each other, and forget about it. Another area of friction in the ashram was that in later years, Mehera became stricter about how things were to be done. Things in the household and for Baba were to be done according to her exact wishes. Baba wanted it this way. As Alu said, no matter what happened, whenever Mehera became irritated, she told Baba everything, every little feeling of being hurt, no matter how insignificant. Baba was her whole purpose in life, Goher stated. So naturally, in whom would she confide except Baba? Baba sat with her, explained things, made it all right, and told her not to worry. We were very busy, so much so that we didn't even have time to sit with Baba. I used to carry messages, bring in the bazaar. Mehera was free to actually sit and be with Baba. Sometimes Mehera spoke to Baba in front of us. If there were private things, Baba told us to leave the room. Mehera would be seated with Baba in the living room. If we felt it was a private conversation, we moved away so she would be free to talk to Baba. Sometimes Mehera and Baba sat on the porch and talked. We wouldn't be there. We kept away and tried not to listen. These intimate conversations between Baba and Mehera also illustrate the predominant feature of their relationship, as described by those closest to them. Mehera was like Baba's daughter, and Baba would patiently listen to her every word with the rapt attention of an indulgent father for his only beloved child. Baba relaxed his current seclusion to listen to a Qawwali program in Mandalay Hall on Sunday, 26 November. Gajwani had paid for the singers. Gajwani wanted to give some amount of money to Baba, Meher explained, but Baba had not accepted and instead told him to arrange for the singers. At Guru Prasad, Gajwani always sent small presents to Mehera through his sister, who went inside to meet her. Once he sent Mehera a stationery set with a pen and pencil. Another time he sent a ring for Mehera to bless. For the Qawwali program, a Tata Shamiana, an awning made of bamboo matting, was erected over the courtyard next to Mandalay Hall, behind the window on Eric's side of the hall. Mehera and the other women sat there where they would not be seen. Yellow curtains were hung on the window, but Mehera could see Baba through them. Baba was dressed in a pink coat, feeling happy to hear the singers, his feet on the poof, Mehera remembered. He was beating time to the music. When an exceptionally good line came, I would always peek at Baba to see how much he appreciated it. Often he interpreted the lines by giving their meaning. Baba stopped the singers and asked, "Do you know the meaning of the lines? Do you understand what you're singing?" And he explained it to them. Early in the morning, at 4:30 on 11 December, the ground at Meherazad shook violently as an earthquake hit the region. When Goher woke, she thought the house was going to collapse. As a child in Quetta, Goher had lived through earthquakes. So she knew exactly what it was. Frightened, she rushed into Baba's room and told Rano, who was on night watch, to fling herself over Baba so that nothing should fall on him. Crouched over him, both tried to protect Baba while the earth shook for a full minute. Mehera was fast asleep when it happened. She was always a heavy sleeper, and that night was no exception. She woke, but not only did she not get out of bed, she did not even sit up. It must be an earthquake, she thought to herself placidly. Baba is next door, so why worry? Mehera repeated Baba's name twice, turned over, and went back to sleep. The night before, Goher had mentioned to Meheru that civet cats had been seen in the area. Civet is Civet. I guess they're kind of wildcat, maybe. Some of them had climbed on the roof. I must have been sleeping soundly, Meheru had told her, because I didn't hear them. But if I do, I'll chase them away. Therefore, during the earthquake, Meheru thought it was the cats. She rushed out, waving a bamboo stick. In the dim light, Meheru gazed towards the roof, but she could not see anything. Although there was so much noise of the gutters rattling, she thought, there must be a herd of them. Nadja realized what was happening and yelled, "What are you doing?" Nadja is always trying to say something to me when I'm right in the middle of something, Meheru explained, so I didn't pay any attention to her. Frantically, Meheru tried to shoo the quote unquote cats away, thinking Baba would be disturbed. But the noise was so great that Meheru gave up. If Baba hasn't heard it by now, she thought, he soon will. There must be 20 of them on the roof. When she finally realized what Nadja was saying about an earthquake, Meheru said, "Why didn't you say so in the first place?" On the Mondelez side, Erich mistook the earthquake for the advance of the local tank brigade, who sometimes held exercises in the area. Erich was incensed. He vowed to give them hell, by God. The next day, Baba asked, "Did you all hear it?" Each one narrated their experiences. Mustin had been sleeping, as usual, with the women servants. When the servants woke, he went to each one, wondering excitedly what was going on. Mani wrote in her family letter of 25 January 1968, "It was like having a 50-second ride on a roaring dragon running under the earth." Newspapers quoted experts as saying that the quake could have wrecked Bombay, Pune, and other cities of Maharashtra had it lasted half a minute longer. There was a hidden reason that the earthquake had not lasted longer. Rano related that during the quake, she watched as Baba sat up in bed and stamped his foot on the floor. Instantly, the tremors stopped. Other nights, there were decidedly, quote unquote, unearthly disturbances. Alaba woke in the middle of the night once and found someone naked sleeping next to him in his bed. He pushed the man, the quote unquote man, but the figure would not move. The person's skin felt like the skin of a pig. Alaba was frightened. He ran out of his room and into Erich's room, where he fainted. For a month, he refused to sleep in his room and slept in Bao's room. Baba said it had all been a mistake. The ghost had meant to contact him. Side note says, Alaba was so shaken by the experience that he would not go alone at night to relieve himself, but would wait until Pendu or Erich would, and then go with them. Bao reported that during his night watch, ghosts often appeared and pestered Baba. They usually asked for cigarettes. Baba told Bao never to say no, but to keep cigarettes handy and throw them out the door whenever they came, which he did. However, One night, something worse happened. Bao was on watch near Baba when they heard Mehera scream. Mehera had awakened to see a man standing in the room. She shouted for help, shrieking Baba's name. Mani was awakened by the scream and saw a form retreat from near Mehera's bed and climb out the window. He turned to look at Mani just before he disappeared. Even in her half awake state, Mani realized that this was no ordinary man, but a ghost, for it was startling to see it go through the screened window as though the screen were not there. Baba, hearing Mehera's cries, came from his room to Mehera's room as fast as he could. Goher too had gone there and opened the door when Baba knocked. Mehera was so frightened it took a while for her to calm down, even with Baba seated on the bed beside her, telling her not to be scared. Baba explained that it was a spirit come to bother him through her. Mehera never forgot this incident and Baba's kindness. Mehera always remembered that Baba sat on her bed near her and had come to her when she was so scared. Meheru said. Back in his bedroom, Baba related to Ba what had transpired, stating that the ghost was about to kill Mehera, but Baba had saved her. After Baba dropped his body, Mehera reported that sometimes in the middle of the night she hears a voice similar to Mani's calling her, Mehera, Mehera. She wakes each time, but no one is there. No one is ever there. Good. Good I didn't answer, she said about one such time. It must have been some spirit. During December 1967, Baba continued his seclusion work. He worked for 3 to 4 hours every morning in Mondley Hall, for an hour more in the hall in the afternoon, and for another 20 minutes in his room. No one was to make a sound during his work. After any previous seclusion work, Baba liked to change the place, the atmosphere, to go somewhere else to relax. Meheru pointed out that for this reason, in later years, Baba's work in seclusion was even more of a hardship, as he could not travel easily, and so remained at Meherazad. After his work was completed, one morning at breakfast, Baba asked Mehera how they should celebrate her upcoming 60th birthday. Shall we invite many to Meherazad for your birthday? He asked. Mehera replied, Baba, for your birthday it's all right, but why so much fuss for my birthday? We'll have a nice quiet birthday at home this year, with just you and us girls. Baba agreed without insisting. Said Mehera, now I feel sad about it because Baba wanted it celebrated on a larger scale. This was an excuse Baba was trying to use to draw his lovers to him. I did not know Baba wanted it that way, to give his lovers the opportunity of his darshan, as he knew that the following year it would not be possible. It tells on my mind, and I feel very sad about it. But Baba asked what I liked. Baba asked me, so I said what was on my mind. That was my mistake. I should have known that Baba mentioned it because it is what he wanted. That is how we make mistakes. It should have been celebrated that year. It would have been nice then because Baba was not feeling so weak. In 1968, Baba's health was very bad. He was feeling weak on my birthday then. At 11 o'clock at night on 21 December, Baba said to Bao, tomorrow is Meher's birthday. Frances has written a birthday song for her. Why don't you write one too? And the side note says the date may have been 22 December 1967. Baba added, it would be nice if you write one, but don't write Mehera is the mother or divine or someone very high. If you want, you can say she is my Radha, but not mother, divine, or so advanced. Bao explained, Baba himself didn't want people to worship Mehera like they do Godavari Mai of Sakori. When Baba said that Mehera was his Radha, he meant that as Krishna loved Radha, so Baba had love for her. Neither Bao nor Francis had ever met or spoken with Mehera. But that night, Bao wrote a Hindi song in Baba's bedroom and read it to him before it was presented to Mehera. The following year, Baba told him to write another one for Meher's birthday. Baba Bao did so and continued doing so every year for a number of years. Here is the chorus and a few couplets from Bao's 1967 birthday song. What a life you lead, O Mehera! Your treasure is the envy of kings. Love, sacrifice, devotion, and prayer. One should learn their true meaning from you. To dance to every tune of the beloved is your sole desire in life. Your goal is to see that the beloved is pleased. You breathe for this purpose alone. The reason that Baba instructed Bao not to refer to Mehera as mother, Mai, M-A-I, was that Mehera disliked it when Indians called her Mehera-Mai, as they often did. It is all right for the men to call me this, but why the women? She once asked. I am not married and the mother of children. I am not married and the mother of children to be a Mai. And the side note says, hang on a second, let me move it over. See Appendix D for the full translation of Bao's song, along with Francis's song titled I Sing of You, Mehera. Baba himself once broached the topic, observing that Radha was never called Radha Mai. Even for Sita, they never say Sita Mai. So why Mehera Mai? There was an appellation for Mehera, however, that Baba did approve of. One day in Guru Prasad, Mehera was serving Baba his lunch. Bayram's wife, Perrin, was talking with Baba, and when she said something about Mehera, the words Mehera Radha slipped out. Baba stopped her and said, say it again, say it again. So Perrin felt happy that she had come up with a name which Baba liked. Now Perrin always calls me by that name, Mehera said. The side note says, once when Perrin and Gulnar were having lunch with Baba and the women at Meherazad, Perrin told Baba, why don't you feed your Mehera Radha with your own hands? And so Baba picked up some of the food and put it in Mehera's mouth. Once at Meherazad in the late 1960s, Baba was standing at the table drinking water. The others had just gone out, and Mehera was alone with him. Suddenly, Baba asked her, when did you first love me? Mehera answered, Baba, I loved you. That's why I came to stay with you. But staying with you day by day, I loved you more and more. Baba told her, I loved you from the very first time I saw you. That very first day, I recognized you as my Radha. Mehera related. That made me think that all the time when Baba was sleeping on the post office veranda being so strict with us, yet he loved me. Once Baba told Mehera, all love me, but you are more fortunate because I love you. Baba had spoken of Mehera as his Radha many times before. One day, when the Kalchuris came to visit, Baba pointed to the picture of Radha and Krishna in his room and remarked, Radha loved Krishna so much, but this time the avatar is even luckier. Mehera loves me more than Radha loved Krishna. Once, when the women Mandali were present, Baba glanced at the same picture, looked at Mehera, and said, I, as Baba, love you more as Mehera than I, as Krishna, loved Radha. Another day, Mehera told the Kalchuris that the picture of Jesus in Baba's room looked like Baba. Their eyes are the same, Baba, right? Mehera asked as she ran to the picture and covered the rest of Jesus' face with her hands. Baba agreed. Look at the hair, the forehead, the chin, the nose, Mehera continued. It is just like Baba's. Mehera left the room and Bao came in. Baba commented, Do you know, so many times Mehera is wrong about things. In brackets, perhaps about the picture of Jesus, Sheila thought, as she could not see the resemblance. Still, I listened to her. Why? She loves me so much. She loves me 100 times more than Radha loved Krishna. Because of that love, I have to bow down to it. I can't break her heart. I don't like to hurt her even this much. He gestured a tiny amount with his forefinger and thumb. Even if she asks me to do something for someone and I know it is not good for that person, I still say yes if she asks. She loves me so much. I cannot compare her with anyone, even Radha. Baba once told Chanji that Mehera was the combination of the devotion of Meera and the divine love of Radha. When the author related this to Mehera, she commented wistfully, It was very sweet of Baba. I love Baba very deeply. All my love is only for Baba. I gave my heart to Baba. Even that was not enough. I try to love him more and more. He is worthy to be loved, infinitely worthy to be loved. Picture of Baba as Krishna, I guess, and Mara as Radha. Up in Upper Meherabad in 1937, Rano took the picture. You know, cool picture of the back of Baba's head with his little pigtail. And that's at Ganeshkind in 1957 by the photographer was Milan. Chapter 151, Avataric Features. Like Mehera, Mani too felt that Meher Baba's features were similar to those of Jesus. In fact, she wondered whether all avatars did not look like Baba. Mani speculated that every avatar has the same general features. Certain physical characteristics, she thought, might always be the same. For example, the arch and long length of their eyebrows, their slim legs, aquiline nose, their height, never tall, always of medium height. Mani was struck by how beautiful individual parts of Baba's body were, such as his shoulder or his ear. Even as he got older, his shoulders seemed exceptionally beautiful to her. Baba's ear was so individualistic, so unique, Mani also noted. Looking at Baba's ear was like looking at the whole of Baba. During darshan times, though we could only see his ear, it didn't matter. It looked complete in itself. Each part of Baba was so beautiful. The other avatars, she thought, must have had similarly distinctive features. Side note says Elizabeth once sent Mani a greeting card on which a picture of Buddha asking, uh, on which was a picture of Buddha asking if she noticed the resemblance. Mehera agreed. Avatars are always beautiful, she said. They aren't very tall. Baba was 5 feet 6 inches before the accidents. Mehera thought that the avatar's qualities were also similar. Jesus's compassion, Krishna's playfulness, and this time Meher Baba's sense of humor, his wit, his love of fun and jokes. Others, such as Irene Billow, have stated that Baba was 5 foot 6 inches tall before the accidents. Mehera personally did not believe that the avatar looked the same each time. Privately, however, she once confided that she wanted Baba to come again in the same form because it was this form, his way of looking and acting, that she loved. It was her Meher Baba that she loved. And her fear was, what if I don't recognize him when he comes again? Everything about Baba was perfect. His way of talking, his singing, his gestures, his movements, his face. That's why I tell Baba that every avatar comes, but I want to be with Meher Baba, with our Baba. I love Baba. She began to cry. Most of all, his love was beautiful, perfect for each one. Sometimes I think we love him, but he loves each one in creation. Mehera spoke at length about Baba's physical features. There's something about Baba that was so different from any other person. The expression of every part of his body. Baba's eyes were so different from any other eyes. He had very expressive eyes. If you see in Baba's photos, in every picture, there is a different expression in his eyes. But photographs couldn't capture the color of his eyes, their depth. The movement and expression are not there. His eyes moved so quickly, keeping an eye on everything and everyone. He didn't miss anything. Baba's eyes were so expressive, as if he spoke with his eyes. His expression was so eloquent. With a look, he could ask, "What are you saying?" You felt what he was trying to say. His eyes were warm and brown, not too dark like mine, or light. You could see they were brown, but when the light caught them, they were a golden, warm shade of brown. There was a gold spark in them. They had a beautiful shape. When Baba talked, when he was happy, his eyes would shine. They were lovely. I loved his eyes because they were so beautiful, the most beautiful eyes in the world. But this is Meher continuing. Baba's eyebrows were very lovely, naturally curving eyebrows. At close quarters, you could see that they reached all the way to the end of his eye. You could see tiny, tiny hairs, very long, lovely eyebrows. Baba had very fair, lovely, pink skin. Mani lost her skin pigment. Otherwise, Baba was many times more fair than she was. The texture of his skin was something quite different from the ordinary. It was so soft, so tender, so special. Even later, there were no wrinkles on Baba's face. A mole appeared on Baba's right cheek only in the last 4 years. I always wondered why right in the middle of his cheek. Why not somewhere here? Po- and in brackets, pointing elsewhere on her face. It was a flat mole, not raised. Baba also had a brownish spot on the middle of his back, the size of a chickpea. Sometimes you could see it through his sadra. I would see something on Baba's back and think it was a fly, but when I waved it away, I saw it was Baba's mole. Baba also had a spot on his left arm. The nape of Baba's neck was like that of a 3-year-old child. It wasn't like a grown man's at all. It had the softness of a young child. His head was so beautifully shaped, so delicate. When I shampooed it, I felt it was so tender. One felt it was like the head of a small child. Baba had very beautiful, expressive hands. He made very lovely and graceful gestures. Baba didn't have much hair on his arms or legs. In later years, hardly any on his legs. Baba's hands and legs were slim and shapely, very slightly sunburned, not brown in color. Baba's legs were always thin, even in later years, just the same as when I first saw him. After middle age, Baba took after his father. His father was rather broad around the neck, which was on the short side. Baba put on weight. His shoulders grew slightly broader, but his hands and legs were thin throughout his life. Baba's feet were very beautiful, so shapely, a lovely oval shape. They were not ordinary feet. In my mind's eye, I can still see them. They were so lovely. You would love to stroke them. His toes were not very separate, they were together. His feet spread a bit, as Baba was not wearing shoes for years, but always wore sandals. In brackets, one's feet get broad from wearing sandals. Baba had walked so many miles doing must work on all sorts of roads, hillsides, mountains, rough places. Yet his feet, when we saw them, looked as if he had never walked far. They were smooth and beautiful, no calluses or roughness. Lovely lotus feet. His feet were lovely, but when they were pressed down to take the plaster footprint mold, by that time they had spread slightly. The side note says, Mehera trimmed Baba's braid a few other times as well. Oh, I guess I can read it in a second. Mehera had tears in her eyes as she related this story about Baba's hair. Once I was watching Gulmai combing Baba's hair. Gulmai pulled the hair and hurt him. I thought, I must never do that when combing Baba's hair. Later, I got the chance and did it so carefully. Baba told me to hurry, hurry. After the 56 accident, Baba sat for me to do his hair, which was all matted. I cut a little off the end at that time and tied his braid with a silk ribbon. Okay, here's where the asterisk is. Mehera trimmed Baba's braid a few other times as well. One piece of his braid was sent to Meher Center in Myrtle Beach in 1965, along with some mustache clippings. Another piece of Baba's braid is on display in the museum at Upper Meherabad. Baba's hair was very light, brown. This is Mehera still talking. Baba's hair was very light brown and curly like a child's. It was lighter at the tips than by his scalp, in brackets, when he was 35 and 40. It got darker as he got older, after 45. None of the brothers had the same color or texture of hair. Baba's hair was fine, but it was not silky. The quality was very beautiful. It was not coarse, but pliable. His hair was so like a child's hair, curly, delicate, and dainty. In his younger years, Baba had an abundance of curly brown hair. Since Baba's hair was already curly, there was no need to make curls, in brackets, from the hair she collected. I rolled it on a pencil and put it into packages. When Baba was 30 or so, after washing his hair, he always wanted to get up and be in the sun to dry his hair. He looked so sweet after washing, with his hair open. I curled his hair on my finger so they would stay curled. Baba shook his hair, broke all the curls with his fingers to dry it in the sun. I watched him from afar. Baba's hair was curly, but you have to keep it tidy. When his hair was open, it used to get knotted. When doing his hair, I had to untangle it so that when I brushed, it didn't pull. The hair had to be separated before brushing. Baba didn't like his hair pulled. On a few occasions, I asked Baba if I should keep his hair open after brushing. When he was going to Meherabad to see the Westerners, he said, "All right." Otherwise, it was always braided, even when he was giving darshan. Sometimes when he was to be photographed, he told me to leave it open, or on his birthday, or certain other occasions. Baba had authority, yet he could be as soft and sweet as a baby. Baba has said that he is soft as butter, but as hard as steel. This means that it takes much to please him. He is strong, but also compassionate and forgiving of mistakes. Mehera wept silently for a few minutes and then quoted a favorite couplet. Tears shed for the beloved are like priceless pearls. Aside from his physical features, there were some aspects of Baba's personality that Mehera found dissimilar to other avatars. Baba was very different as Jesus, not as naughty, not cheating at games. Baba loved games. He loved to cheat also. He had a lovely nature. Baba was so different from other avatars. He fitted into modern times. He went to the West, mixed with people there. Having attended a convent school, Mehera had a deep love for Jesus. Jesus was very humble, full of compassion and love, very sweet and loving. As Mani says, we must have adored Jesus from afar. That's why we came near to Baba this time. It is Baba's miracle, the miracle of his own love that has created love in our hearts to love him. As Baba says, it is my love that brings you to me. It is Baba's love that brings us to Baba. Of course, we must have some past connection with him. So this time we have come near. All of his lovers have some connection. That is why we love him. Nobody could ever stop loving Baba because he was so beautiful in every way. His looks, his voice, his mannerisms. We call it Ada. And his love for everyone. Baba was beautiful in every way. Most beautiful was his love for all. So many years to be on silence. He was not doing it for himself, but for each one of us, for all his lovers, as well as for all humanity, for all creation, to which he has given a spiritual push. In the world, things are changing fast. Mehera offered this advice: love Baba dearly. So the next time when Baba is physically present, you all will be near him to serve him in his physical form, to love him, to be near him, to look in his beautiful eyes and see his lovely smile. Baba's work in seclusion continued in January 1968. On the 28th, he issued a circular saying that, quote, his having prolonged his universal work in seclusion is an act of his divine compassion and love preceding his manifestation. To help him in this work, Baba wants all his lovers to recite once daily the Master's prayer and the prayer of repentance, individually or collectively, from the time they received this circular until 25th of March 1968, and also to observe complete silence for 24 hours from midnight of 16th March to midnight 17th March 1968. On Wednesday, 31 January, Baba called a few close lovers to Meherazad for a meeting, at which he reiterated the above plans to continue his seclusion until the end of March. During the meeting, he also made an extraordinary, sudden announcement. He again spoke of Mehera as his Radha, and then said, one special event for you all today is to see Mehera for the first time. Men have not seen Mehera. Say Jai Baba to her, and she will reply with Jai Baba. She is not God realized, nor has she any spiritual experience, but she is my Radha. One day I am going to explain to Francis why people in India say Radha Krishna and not Krishna Radha, and Sita Ram and not Ram Sita. And side note says, afterwards, Baba dictated this explanation to Bao, who incorporated it into a birthday song for Mehera. Radha Krishna, Sita Ram, Mehera-Meher. Why do people place your name before the Lord's? The Creator worships his creation with absolute devotion. So through the ages, your name is sung before his. Mehera's life belonged solely to Baba, Bao elaborated. She represented original Maya, the medium through which God realizes himself. Baba worked through her for the whole creation. Mehera's love for me is 100% pure. It is not like others loving Baba. All these years she has been with me and has been as pure as can be. She has no lustful thoughts or desires, not even for her Krishna, nothing at all. Her sole purpose in life is to love me. Baba left Mandali Hall and soon called the men to the women's side, where he was seated on the veranda of the house. Mehera was standing on his right-hand side. No other women were present. The Mondley and a few male visitors stood on the ground in front of the porch. Mehera was nervous, but Baba had prepared her days in advance. Don't worry, he had assured her. I'll be there. You stand next to me, fold your hands, and say, Jai Baba. A few days before, Baba told me I should put on a sari, Mehera related. He was calling a few Baba lovers from Nagar and elsewhere, a group of men, and I have to say Jai Baba to them. He explained that he would be with me. Baba was wearing a bright peacock green coat. I was wearing a green sari. I liked dull green, not shining. The men were called and stood on the ground. Baba smiled and said, Say Jai Baba to them. I did, and they said, Jai Baba. Again I said, Jai Baba. Baba gave his hand to me to kiss. I kissed it, and Baba said, Now you can go inside. Baba remained outside and then went back to the hall with the man in his lift chair. I'll read the side note here. Adi Sr. recorded in his diary on 31 January 1968, Mehera, Baba's most dear woman disciple, Baba's Radha, who always is unseen by men, for the second time in her life with Baba, allowed to be seen by the Mandali. The first time was during a skit at Nasik in 1932. After the meeting in Mandali Hall, Baba takes us all. We follow his lift chair, and while Baba sits in the chair on the veranda of his house, Mehera comes out and stands near his chair. All see her face. Then Baba asks to one after another how she looks, and they all say, divine, beautiful, lustrous, and so forth. We are asked to leave. Back to the text. Although the other women Mandali were instructed to remain inside the house, Gohar had been waiting on the veranda to call Mehera when Baba asked for her to come out. If Mehera was ready, Gohar was to call the men. Gohar, therefore, had gone towards the men's side and was watching the proceedings from a distance, from behind the crowd. She went inside afterwards. All of the women Mondley felt that this indeed was a momentous occasion. Nothing like it had ever happened before. Although Baba had permitted a handful of individual men to greet Mehera, he had never permitted his Mondali to do so. Mehera had been kept isolated for more than 40 years, but things were about to change, and Baba was preparing her for that. Gohar felt this at the time. I thought, perhaps Baba wants to bring Mehera out now from her seclusion. It was just the beginning of her coming out more in the open. Mehera herself concluded the same thing. From that day, I knew that it was all right for me to speak to men. I felt shy and a bit awkward, but Baba was near me, so I felt brave enough to speak. Now I feel like you all are Baba's children, so you are my children also. Mehera clarified. Baba told me to speak to men, but he never told me to touch or shake hands. So that order remains. To me, Baba is the only man, the perfect man. Mani agreed that on this significant date of 31 January 1968, Baba was giving them a hint about Mehera's future role. This was the beginning which Baba started, so Mehera could talk to men. It was a sign that Mehera would come out when the occasion arose, an indication from him. In Pune, during the last darshan, so many Indians came and asked, can we just say Jai Baba to Mehera from a distance? It meant so much to them. Mehera felt that it is what Baba wanted her to do. Even before January 1968, Baba would send us to films. So little by little, he was bringing us out into the world. The winter of 1968 had been one of the coldest in memory, but from the first week in February, it suddenly turned warm and cloudy. Nadja used to wear skirt upon skirt when it was so cold, Mani wrote to Irene. We used to say she was looking like Helen Dom. On 20 February, Baba declared that his seclusion would continue at Guru Prasad, ending in May. That same afternoon, when the bell rang at 3, announcing Baba's coming, Meheru went to see whether Mehera was awake from her nap. Just as she was about to call her, a black-faced monkey appeared on Mehera's windowsill. Mehera had put some babul beans on the sill to dry. The beans are supposedly good for the teeth. The monkey grabbed them, tasted them, but did not like them and spit them out. Mehera awoke as Meheru shooed it off. The monkey, however, refused to leave Meherazad. It jumped from the branch of the tree near the main house to another tree, and then leapt onto the roof of the nearby cottage. The garden boy climbed up and offered it a banana, but the monkey jumped to the roof of the main house, over Baba's bedroom, breaking several tiles. By disrupting the quietude, the monkey had interfered with Baba's work, as Baba commented. The havoc played by the monkey on the roof of my room on the day I decided to lengthen the seclusion is deeply significant to my work and that which is to happen after May 21st. On 1 March, Baba issued another circular in which he repeated, something great will happen that has never happened before. The fate of the universe hangs on my seclusion, and the redemption of mankind depends upon my manifestation. He also stated that, compared with the work I do in seclusion, all the important work of the world put together is completely insignificant. Although for me the burden of my work is crushing, the result of my work will be intensely felt by all people in the world. He asked his lovers to continue daily recitation of the two prayers and to observe silence on 19 May rather than on 17 March as previously given. And though the beloved remained secluded at Meherazad, working intensely, it was his wish that his birthday be celebrated publicly that year all over the world. Some weeks before, Mehera had had the same thought. I was thinking that it would be nice if Baba's birthday were celebrated on a grand scale this year. Before I mentioned anything to Baba, he himself suggested that this year the birthday celebration should be done in a big way. So without my saying, he knew this and himself suggested it. It should be celebrated very grandly, he said. It won't be celebrated like this again. Baba knew the future, that he would drop his body, and we wouldn't be able to celebrate it like this again. This was perhaps the first hint Baba gave of the dropping of his body, as early as 1 year before. Birthday cards and telegrams from India and abroad poured into Audie Sr.'s office. These were sent to Meherazad on 24 February in a huge bag, and each was read to Baba. Baba mentioned he liked the handmade card sent by Sheila and told Bao to let her know. Your card has touched my endless heart, Baba wrote to her. Sheila was thrilled. I felt as if I had won the lottery. The Kalchuris went to Meherazad on the 26th, and Baba asked about the birthday programs at the Ahmednagar Center. Baba praised her card again, and Sheila said, Next year I will work even harder and make a better card. Baba said, This year your card has touched me, so you don't need to do it again. You will always remember how happy you made me this year. It was another hint. Little did Sheila realize that this would be her last opportunity to send Baba a birthday card. Baba then told them to go inside to see Mehera. She will show you the best cards. When Sheila went in, Mehera said that there was one particular birthday card she especially liked. Sheila saw that her card alone had been placed on the dining room table. The ones Baba loves I keep separately, Mehera explained. Baba chose this card this year. Look, they have done it so carefully. It's not store-bought, but handmade. Very expensive cards came from America, England, and from all over the world. But Baba appreciates those that are made and sent with love, even if they are inexpensive or crudely drawn. You have to put your heart in it. That has meaning. This one was the best one this year. Baba loved it. Mehera continued, pointing out the details of the card. Inside was a Hindi couplet wishing Baba to live for 1,000 years. It meant his presence should be alive in the world until he came again in his next advent. I don't know who sent it, but it is really well done, Mehera commented. When Sheila revealed that it was her card, Mehera laughed. Arnavaz, Katie, and Khorshid were permitted to stay at Meherazad during the birthday time. One evening, as Baba was about to retire, he turned suddenly to Arnavaz and told her, Mehera is your daughter. Turning to Mehera, he emphasized, listen, he emphasized, Mehera, listen, you are Arnavaz's daughter. He repeated it. Arnavaz speculated that there must have been some special internal connection. More than to give advice, my role is to take care of Mehera in a tender way, Arnavaz asserted. Baba somehow had a special connection between Mehera and myself. He put me in such a place that now I feel all along there was some special relationship between Mehera and me. Baba always instructed us not to talk about anything and everything to Mehera. We knew how to behave. Many times in front of Mehera, Baba asked Arnavaz, Do you love Mehera? Yes, Baba, I love her very much, she replied. You must love her, he said. Once he told her, You must not care for anybody in the whole world except love me, love Mehera, and love Nariman, in brackets, her husband. When Arnava stayed at Meherazad in the evenings, she went for a walk in the garden with Mehera, who was a great admirer of nature. They often watched the sunset together. How beautiful it is, Mehera remarked. Look at the sky. Look at that bird. At its feathers. Arnavaz listened quietly. Mehera loved nature and talked of those things, Arnavaz reminisced. She would also talk of her life with Baba in the past. She was much more of an extrovert in later years, in the sense that she talked more. Perhaps this was because Mehera now knew Arnavaz better and felt more comfortable with her. And we'll pick up here next week